in Weatherford, and joining us is State Senator Brent Howard. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! Yes. How was your holidays?
They were good. We got to spend it around here and a little bit with Jennifer's family and spent a lot of time working, though, really. That's what happens when you're home.
You're exactly right. You end up finding more things that you have to get done and knock out that honeydew list. That's always fun.
Any ideas
Yeah.
for 2020 personally? Any improvements that you plan to make this year?
Oh, well, when you're already perfect and humble, there's not a lot to do.
Oh man, really? No, like everyone else, of course, does the weight thing, or we're going to work out more, or save money, or
Yeah, you don't have a weight problem. You don't have a money managing problem, right? So
No.
I guess you are perfect.
no. There we go.
Well, my wife and I are going to spend more time kind of reading together scripture, and
Okay.
so we started doing that. We've got a new Mark Batterson book that we're working on.
Very good. Spiritual growth.
Yes,
Sounds good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
so together. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that'll be good. Well, we're going to talk a lot about a lot of things this morning. Of course, a lot of I guess you guys have hit the deadline for submitting new bills, if that's the way to write it.
yes, we have a bill request deadline, and that was January 2nd,
Okay.
or really December 16th. But you're able to tweak and have shell bills up to that time, at least on the Senate side. And January 2nd, we had to have title and general idea filed. And next Thursday is when final language has to be submitted. So that's when everything gets published and everybody's able to look at what that language is and what's proposed coming in rather than just what the title might be.
We'll talk about several of them, but one, of course, everyone's talking about is the California legislation with the student athletes and giving them a chance to make some money.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that coming up. We'll take a break, come back. It is State Senator Brent Howard joining the show this morning.
Conversation Corner is brought to us by Lewis Hills Roadhouse.
The new Van and John Show is brought to you by Toutfest Home Design Center, Main Street, Weatherford.
Attention breakfast lovers! Stop in at Lucille's Roadhouse off Airport Road in Weatherford, where you can enjoy all-you-can-eat breakfast Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. The coffee is always freshly ground and ready to serve. While you're there, make sure to check out the great Made in Oklahoma products available in the gift shop. Lucille's Roadhouse, just off Airport Road in Weatherford, where you can enjoy all-you-can-eat breakfast Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's Lucille's Roadhouse.
Your local family-owned Galleria Furniture outlet of Elk City always has something new for market. Check out the recliner starting at $109. As always, no interest financing. And if you don't want to use your credit, they have no credit check financing. Recliners for $109. Huge markdowns on appliances and major savings on bedding. Don't wait. Come see your friends at Galleria Furniture outlet of Elk City, right next to Tractor Supply.
Remember, friends, don't let friends pay retail. Public Service Company of Oklahoma is Boundless Energy. We know the value of energizing those around us, our employees, our customers, our communities. Together, we generate the power to impact our communities, to strengthen our economy, to enrich our environment, and to improve all our lives. Each day is a new opportunity to connect with each other, to share our dreams, and to take action whenever needed. For us, it is more than being part of this amazing place. It's doing our part to ensure a bright, boundless future. For more information, please visit psoklahoma.com.
Hello, Bulldog fans. This is Josh Collins, coach of the SWASU volleyball team, here to talk to you about our official booster club, the Athletic Association. If you are looking for ways to support SWASU athletics and get some awesome perks like Bulldog gear, game day tickets, VIP parking, and suite access, then you definitely want to join the Athletic Association. So call the SWASU Athletic Department today to speak with Kayla McQuillan or visit swasuathletics.com for more information. We are so privileged to represent this great university and the incredible city of Weatherford, and we couldn't do it without your support. Go Dogs!
Susie Save-A-Lot here. New year and fresh savings at Save-A-Lot. Whole chicken fryers are only 89 cents a pound. $1.29 a pound on pork loin chops, and pineapples are only $2.49 each. And get 5 pounds of gold potatoes for only $2.99.
Convenient shopping, low prices, great service, and they'll even carry out your groceries, all on Washington and Main in the Weatherford Shopping Center.
We're going to save a lot.
The new Van and John Show on the Coyote.
It's Conversation Corner. It's brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse, and Brent Howard is our guest this morning. The state senator, Brent Howard. First time for 2020 to speak to you.
Yes. And I can't believe we're already 10 days in. It does seem to just fly by so quickly.
I know already. We're starting to think about Christmas shopping, getting it ready.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, though, that is right around the corner, that man-made holiday that somehow talks us into spending more money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you better get something.
I know.
Just love and affection is not enough.
And it should be, by golly.
Out to eat is enough for me. Acknowledgement. Out to eat, or you prepare a meal or something,
Mm-hmm.
Candlelit dinner.
Every day in my life, Vanessa, is Valentine's Day with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to celebrate on a specific day.
Yeah.
We're golden there. All right, let's talk about it. 2020, the session gets started. What is it next? Is it 2 weeks? 3? Is it the beginning of February?
February 3rd will be our first day.
That's,
so it'll come up 3 weeks from Monday.
That's right after the Super Bowl. You guys really? Because we call that, in my personal world, that's a national holiday. We take February 3rd off in any job I've ever had anywhere.
Well, until the Cowboys get in there, I don't think the state's going to take off much.
I used to think about that.
Yeah.
It happened a lot when I was a kid, but now that I'm older, they're very disappointing my whole life. But what do you do? Anyways, so that is the day of Super Bowl. Let's talk about a couple things. We mentioned the new bill that's being presented for student athletes. Of course, this applies to all student athletes, but especially you'd expect it to affect OSU and OU more than anybody else. Getting paid for their likeness and things like that. Kind of explain what that's about and kind of where you're at on that.
Well, I kind of read the title there. I didn't read the actual bill of that within what was filed at Oklahoma, and then kind of followed some of those national headlines. As you said, it initially did come out of California, and maybe Florida, I think, has a similar one that's been proposed. That's where you really get into, this is heavily weighted on both sides, I think. Whenever you're talking about some of those athletes put in the time, I mean, their likeness is what they have to market. But, a lot of times there's somebody that's putting in just as much effort, but not quite the star capacity. And so you have two people right there playing for the same college team that are one's potentially making millions and the other's just receiving his scholarship.
I agree. Vanessa makes like 5 times what I make here. It's ridiculous. And we both put in the exact same amount of effort, by golly.
That star power.
Yeah, I know. It gets me. But no, I mean, I'm with you there. But at the same time, here's the question I ask. Is the quarterback at the University of Oklahoma, let's go back. I'm going to give you the big-time guy. Of course, there's been a bunch of them. But let's go Baker Mayfield because he was a big presence, or even Jalen Hurts, the recent one. Is he famous because he's really good and he's Baker Mayfield, or is he famous because he's the quarterback at OU?
Well, I mean, I think that especially when you're talking about teams like that,
right?
It's the team that really comes in. At one point, I'm more of an OSU fan, and so go back to who was it before Mason Rudolph? Brandon Whedon
was that? Oh yeah, before
was ours, kind of at the same time as.
Don't forget about Corn Dog.
Yep, as Landry Jones.
Right.
And if you just look at the offensive line, I think that's really what made a huge difference on the completion percentages. So it is a team sport and it's a team effort, but you look right at the next step, and Tom Brady's getting a lot more than any of his O-line or anything along there. So.
Well, it's because he deserves more for being paid, but that's different because now that's paying them for their performance on the field. We're not doing that here, right? In theory, we're paying them for their likeness. And my question, for example, we'll go back to Mayfield or even to whoever, to any player, really. When they buy that jersey, am I buying that jersey because it's an OU's jersey, or am I buying that jersey because it's Baker Mayfield's jersey? How much money should the athlete be receiving from the sale of that jersey?
Mm-hmm. See, I don't know that.
I
don't know. I think that's going to have probably a big debate I haven't heard from any constituents on how they really feel about it either. The question becomes, and I think why it's been introduced, the little bit that I did see on kind of the press release for it, is that we don't want to be, as a state, so far behind in our college sports because California or Florida or these other states would be passing this. And then those people, that five-star recruits, start seeing, well, over here I can make hundreds of thousands of dollars selling my likeness, and in Oklahoma at OU or OSU or Southwestern receive zero, just scholarship.
Right. And I know they're trying to base it off the Olympic model, but at the same time, it's just a different beast. I mean, for example, we already had the issues at OU, and I'm sure this is at all universities all over the place. It's coming to light with shoe companies and basketball, where the guys were working for a car dealership, except they weren't really working. They were just getting paid. Well, now they can use their likeness and say, hey, guys, come on down and you can film a commercial for me. And now we can pay you money for your likeness to support this car dealership. And now you're making money, AKA from a booster or from it's hard. It's a very gray area, but I feel like you're getting into, we're paying our players. And if we're going to do it, let's do it right.
Yeah. For their actual performance.
Right. But now you're trying to circumvent the rule, I feel like, and you're going to run into that because, the Olympics every 4 years, but you're not. That's different. It's just a completely different way of making money for a guy being on a Wheaties box before he goes swimming into a big pool. And we're not even talking about just local dealerships. Now, what do you do when Nike comes in and says, "Hey, I want to pay you for your likeness $5.6 million this year." To support us. So I don't know.
And get people locked in before they go pro. And another thing on a lot of the Olympic sports, they're individual sports.
Right.
So there's probably a few fans of swimming, but there's a lot more fans of Michael Phelps because of what he's done individually.
No, you're exactly
and you
right.
really don't get that for these college sports that really have the large revenue and those streams. And again, kind of a little bit of ignorance on this issue. I know the NCAA was talking about it. Have they issued official rules? Is that what's allowing this?
Not yet. They're still against it, but they're meeting and trying to come up with a solution that makes everybody happy. But they know it's a real thing. But at the same time, you had this kid, I want to say it was a kicker back in Florida back in the day, who was doing some kind of funny YouTube channel. Making a ton of money off of that, just being funny, had nothing to do with the sport he was playing or anything he was doing, and they came in and claimed that to be illegal. So I mean, the NCAA's got lots of issues to fix, and they're gonna try to fix them, keep everybody happy, but they're not going to be kicking the California schools out anytime soon, and surely if this passes in Oklahoma, they're not kicking the Oklahoma schools out anytime soon. But if they do, we can just go play with California, right?
Right.
So I guess
I think probably it would still come back down to NCAA puts those sanctions a lot of times still on the individual player,
right?
Too. So you might lose your star power just to the professional leagues a lot sooner. Who was the bowl or there was a football player for some big team that had a decent bowl. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs. But he just decided he wasn't going to play in the bowl game because, there's a lot of risk there whenever you're talking $1 million contracts coming up, but then playing one final game where somebody wants to take your head off and cause an injury and then nothing.
Yeah, but then the exact opposite of that, for example, Chuba Hubbard, he's expected to go in the NFL draft, but at the same time, he's really seriously contemplating coming back. In fact, hopefully they hear about that today. He's supposed to make a little announcement and decide what he's doing for Oklahoma State. But he was the number one running back in the nation last year. But he chose the opposite. He was, I'm going to play in the bowl game. I'm part of this team. And I may even come back and forego the $5-6 million a year that I could be making in the NFL. So who knows? So basically your stance on this is you want to do some more research.
Yes. I need to hear from some more people and see what the actual language is coming forward. Will make a big difference.
All right. Well, this one I'm going to make you choose a side. So you have to give us an answer. Raising the minimum wage. I saw this presented. I believe it was State Senator. Who was it?
Young.
Young, yes. A proposal to raise the state minimum wage, I believe, to $10.50 an hour. What are your thoughts there?
I'm against it. Just in general, a minimum wage, you really need to reward people for the effort they put in. And so I think that there's enough market. We've got a low enough unemployment rate that, mandating that point, what's happening, at least on some studies are pointing to, is that employers are just cutting hours. So the actual employee doesn't come out much better because their hours have been cut on what they could work.
And they could raise the cost as well to offset the cost of the minimum wage being raised.
Mm-hmm. But then that drives the inflation side of your dollar's not worth as much. So let's say we have a increase, and then the dollar menu at McDonald's goes to $1.50, which it already has in most instances. So you go into that scenario of, well, now you need $3 to buy your 2 burgers to eat lunch instead of just the $2.
Yeah.
So
I wish there was a better solution.
Everything kind of drives on that.
I mean, I'm with you, but I agree with what you're saying. But I'm going to be devil's advocate for a second and say the opposite side of that. Find me somebody that can live on $8 an hour, $9 an hour, $7.50. I don't even know what the current minimum wage is.
Isn't it?
But that can support their family without assistance from the state, without food stamps, without the free insurance, without they can feed their kids at the schools without the free meals at the school. Find me somebody that's making $8 an hour, $8.50, $9 an hour, that's able to pay their bills and do all those things on that wage.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be found. But here's the thing. Have you looked at the pay scale for McDonald's, Wendy's, a lot of these stores?
Oh, yeah, they start at like $11 an hour.
Yeah.
Now you can
why would we need to mandate a higher wage for our local? But even those that start out at $7.50, a lot of them within 3 months, you're up to about that $10 an hour. It's just a matter of showing up and putting in effort.
No, you're right.
And if you're stuck at the minimum wage job, that means you're putting in the minimum effort because you're either having to switch jobs or in a lot of instances. Now, I know that there's some people that don't get raises, but just the same as kind of what I've had to do is prove a work history and then go to those better paying jobs.
No, I'm with you there. I definitely recommend if you're not happy with your job and you're not getting paid enough and Vanessa's making 5 times more than you, you should be finding some other place to work. I get it.
Yeah.
You should want to advance yourself and you should want to have that drive. And the problem is not everybody has that and doesn't have that ability or I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's just a self-confidence thing or what it is.
Situation thing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, if you're making that $9 an hour and you're not able to support your family on food stamps, without using food stamps, you're not able to support their insurance without free insurance from the government, you're not able to pay your bills without assistance, then you should be looking for another job, and that's why we have a free and open market.
Mm-hmm.
But some people don't.
A lot of these in the court system too, and that's where ultimately I think that it kind of comes down to gaming a system, at least with some people that are going through court system and they're in drug court and they have to pay certain fines over certain period, and so you get to talk to the employers with those situations. Like, well, yeah, we're paying a minimum wage, but out of the last 3 weeks, he's shown up late 4 times and called in sick 2 days. So it's
the things you don't hear about. I've never thought about that.
Well, and I'm with you on that. But at the same time, the other side of it, I could have the most model employee, but if my budget allows for me to pay that employee $9 an hour, that's what I have in my budget. And again, back to your original point, if they don't like it,
you need to go somewhere else.
They need to go work somewhere else because
go where you're appreciated.
I'm not making my company is not have the money coming in to spend more money than $9 an hour on that employee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is where it really gets me. I do commend Senator Young. I like working with him. I don't agree with a lot of his policies, but this does need to be addressed at the state level. So the national, where it's trying to get passed in Congress, that's not where the debate needs to happen because that $15 an hour, 10 is actually probably somewhere in line with where Oklahoma needs to be on our cost of living and our economy. But where they're trying to push 15 through at the Congress level for all 50 states, that's not where the discussion needs to happen because $15 an hour out here would probably put quite a few businesses out or put them just back on the sole proprietor who in a lot of instances is, not making, whenever you count all the hours of bookkeeping and actual open time, anywhere near probably the current minimum wage. So
when I first started working, it was $5.15. $5.15 an hour.
Right? How much they paid you?
No, they paid $5.35. 20 cents more.
Yeah, then like radio has that loophole where they don't have to pay overtime.
Mm-hmm.
The small markets, they don't do that either. But it's all weird. It's all laws. I don't like that. I think that's my big complaint against it is who are you to tell me how to run my business? It's my books. It's my business. You're already taxing the out of me, so I want to make sure that I've got to pay those. I just feel like.
And that was my job when I was 16. I'm not talking about here, so I can't remember what it was here. This was like 1994 or something.
I think my first job, I attended Windows when I was a freshman in college. First paying job off the farm, I should say, because I had to build a lot of fence, and we actually got to hire out doing farm work.
Nice.
But I think it was $6.50 an hour.
Okay.
And
I know you're much younger
same
than me.
deal. By 2 months in, he said, "Well, you showed up every day, and we'll give you another $1 an hour." So.
My first job was cleaning out horse stables. I was shoveling a lot of poop, making $5 an hour, but I was off the books. Hey,
you got the credentials for the Capitol.
That's right. That's right.
You can really tell people's age, though, because I'm getting a message from someone who was obviously older than me because he says when he started working it was $4.25. See? You can see how old people are. You can just ask them that instead of how old they are. How much did you get paid for minimum wage?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But my job was off the books, under the table, so I didn't have to pay taxes.
$5 an hour.
Maybe that's why I hate taxes so much nowadays, because I got started off,
It's past 7 years. They can't get you for it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, it sounds like things are going. Any other bills or anything exciting? I know that you were a co-author on, or?
I'm still working on some language. One of them that I think that we need to put in place. I'm working with my district judge down here, Brad Leverett, and he had an unfortunate situation. As the district judge, he's tasked with having to make basically health decisions for children that are in state custody. And so there was a child that, as a result of, I don't know if it was accident or abuse, was on life support with no hope of coming out. And so as the judge, he's tasked with making that decision to pull life support. But the problem is that there's no authorization for him to allow organ donation. And they said that there's somewhere around 30 of these that have to be decided across the state every year. So we're coming in and we're going to hopefully change that law, allow for organ donation of those children that ultimately where the state has to make the decision to allow that judge to also be able to extend the life of someone else at that tragic loss.
Wow. Huh.
So, hopefully small numbers, hopefully never has to be made again, but be able to make some difference in other lives. That's one that, again, kind of close to home and working on.
Yeah. It's either,
trying to get support for that.
Right. I think it'd be easy to support. I think it's the need is how often, like you mentioned, doesn't happen often, but when it does, I guess it'd be nice to have something in place of kind of a precedent saying this is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that. Well, very nice. Well, I know you're a busy man. We don't want to take up too much of your time. We just want to call and then see how things are going at the Capitol.
Well, appreciate it. By the time we talk next month, we will be in session.
That's right. You're gonna have all. Now, I need you to get all the juicy
reports,
all the juicy gossip going on there at the Capitol. Like who's dating who, who's going, who's trying to have tax evasion, who's going to be running for re-election, who's not running. We get all the good juicy stuff.
I'll have to promote that one.
Yeah, we'll tease it. We'll get it all ready, so we'll get the full gossip report from the state capitol.
All right, that sounds good.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much again for your time this morning.
All right, thank you guys. If anybody needs to reach out to me that's in radio land out there, Brent.Howard, Brent.Howard at oksenate.gov, or you can call the legislative office, 405-521-5612.
Brent Howard, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Conversation Corner is brought to us by Lucy.